If a 13-pound iron rod shot through your skull and you survived, would the person who woke up still be you? The answer is more disturbing than losing a memory. Your brain can change what you want. It can change who you love. It can even change what you feel guilty about. And there is one tumor case so precise, it sounds fake. Remember the tumor. It comes back like a fingerprint. You probably think your personality is the deepest part of you. Your face changes, your job changes, your playlist gets embarrassing. But somewhere inside, you feel like there is a solid little you, a pilot in the cockpit, a soul wearing a meat helmet. Now imagine waking up tomorrow and hating your favorite person, or suddenly gambling away your savings, or losing the ability to care that you hurt someone. Would that be a mood? A choice? Or did your brain just edit you? Here's the comforting answer. You are your memories. You are the story you tell yourself. If you remember your childhood, your friends, and your name, you remain you. That sounds right. It is also not enough, because memory can survive while personality breaks. That is the first crack. In 1848, a railroad foreman named Phineas Gage was packing explosives in Vermont. A spark ignited the powder. A tamping iron blasted through his left cheek. It tore through the front of his brain. Then it landed dozens of feet away. Gage did not die. He reportedly spoke within minutes. He could walk, he could remember, but his doctor later wrote something chilling. Gage was no longer Gage. His friends said the same thing. He became impulsive, profane, unreliable. At least that is the legend. But wait, it gets stranger. The famous story is partly exaggerated. Gage later worked as a stagecoach driver in Chile. That job required planning and discipline, so he was not simply turned into a monster. His brain changed him. Then his brain adapted again. That matters, because your personality is not a statue. It is more like a campfire. It keeps its shape by constantly burning. Change the wind, and the flame leans. Change the fuel, and the color changes. But here's the problem with the simple story. There is no single personality button in your skull. You do not have one honesty gland. There is no courage nugget. Your personality is built from networks. The frontal lobes help you plan and restrain impulses. The amygdala helps tag things as threatening. The reward system teaches your brain what feels worth chasing. The insula helps you feel your body from inside. Together, they create something that feels like character, like a band playing one song. Damage one instrument, and the melody changes. Now here comes the second crack. Brain changes do not need to be dramatic. You do not need an iron rod. A tiny tumor can press the wrong circuit. In the early 2000s, doctors described a 40-year-old school teacher. He suddenly developed sexual behavior completely unlike him. He knew it was wrong, he still could not stop. A brain scan found a tumor in his orbitofrontal cortex. That region helps you control impulses and judge consequences. Surgeons removed the tumor. His behavior disappeared. Then, later, the urges returned. Doctors scanned him again. The tumor had grown back. Remember the tumor. It was not an excuse scribbled after the fact. It vanished and returned with the behavior, like a horrible light switch. So ask yourself this. If a tumor can create an urge, where exactly is blame located? In the tumor? In the person? In the part of the brain watching helplessly? Scientists still argue about the line. But the line is not where you think, because your brain does not just hold your personality. It manufactures the feeling that your personality is yours. That is the third crack. Some changes arrive through medicine. Parkinson's disease is often treated with drugs that increase dopamine. Dopamine helps movement, but it also shapes reward and craving. A small percentage of patients develop impulse control problems. Some start gambling. Some compulsively shop. Some develop hypersexuality. The medication helps their body move. Then it changes what their brain wants. Imagine fixing your hands and accidentally rewriting your temptations. That is not science fiction. It is printed in medication warnings. And surgery can do something even more intimate. Deep brain stimulation places electrodes inside the brain. Doctors use it for Parkinson's, tremor, and some severe psychiatric conditions. The electrical pulses can be life-changing. But some patients report shifts in mood, drive, or sense of self. One setting may make you calmer. Another may make you reckless. Another may make you feel strangely unlike yourself. Your identity starts to look adjustable, like brightness on a phone screen. Too low, and you disappear. Too high, and you become someone unbearable. But do not picture your brain as a puppet master. Picture it as a prediction machine. Every second, it guesses what you are. It reads your heartbeat. It reads your memories. It reads your hunger, pain, hormones, and social world. Then it builds a character called you. Your personality is the brain's best guess about your usual behavior. A living shortcut. You are the kind of person who does this. You are the kind of person who avoids that. Most days, the shortcut works. That is why you feel stable. But change the machinery, and the shortcut updates. Depression can make your future feel sealed shut. Mania can make impossible plans feel obvious. Frontotemporal dementia can make a careful person socially inappropriate. A stroke can flatten emotion or remove fear. Even sleep loss can make your emotional brain overreact. After enough change, your loved ones may use the worst sentence. They are still here, but they are not themselves. That sentence should scare you, because it means identity is partly social. You are not only inside your skull, you also live in other people's expectations. They store versions of you, the kind one, the funny one, the reliable one. When your brain changes, their version does not update cleanly. They grieve a person who is sitting in the room. So who are you really? Here is the full answer. You are not one unchanging thing hidden behind your eyes. You are a pattern your brain keeps rebuilding. That pattern uses memory, emotion, impulse control, body signals, and other people. When the pattern stays similar, you call it me. When the pattern changes too fast, everyone calls it illness. When it changes slowly, you call it growing up. That is the trick. Your personality was never frozen. It was always under construction. The reason this feels terrifying is simple. You want the self to be the driver, but often the self is also the car. Change the engine, and the driver changes speed. Change the brakes, and the driver becomes dangerous. Change the map, and the driver believes the wrong road is home. This does not mean you are fake. A flame is not fake because it needs oxygen. A song is not fake because it needs instruments. You are real. You are just not as separate from your brain as you feel. But here's the part nobody talks about. This can make compassion feel dangerous. If a tumor explains a crime, you feel mercy. If addiction changes the reward system, you hesitate. If dementia steals empathy, you soften. But then the question spreads. What about childhood trauma? What about lead exposure? What about a bad night's sleep before the worst decision of your life? What about genes that tilt your anger upward? At what point does explanation become forgiveness? And at what point does forgiveness become unsafe? Your brain is not a magic courtroom. It is tissue. Wet, electrical, hungry tissue. A grapefruit-sized storm running on salt and sugar. Courts ask whether you intended an act. Families ask whether you meant to hurt them. Science asks a colder question. What mechanism produced that version of you? That question does not erase responsibility. It makes responsibility messier. Because society still needs protection. Victims still need justice. But the idea of a pure evil self gets harder to hold. Sometimes the monster is a damaged circuit. Sometimes the damaged circuit is still dangerous. Both can be true. And then there is the private fear. If your brain changed tomorrow, would you notice? Maybe not at first. The changed brain would explain itself using your voice. It would say, I have always felt this way. It would say, everyone else is overreacting. It would say, this is the real me. That might be the most frightening part. You do not experience your personality from the outside. You experience it as obvious, even when it has been altered. The alarm usually comes from other people. A friend says you seem different. A partner says you are not listening. A parent says your eyes look empty. And maybe they are wrong. Or maybe they are seeing the update before you do. This is why brain disease can feel supernatural. It can take a gentle grandfather and make him cruel. It can take a cautious mother and make her reckless. It can take you with all your private vows and bend the rails. Not because the real you escaped, because the real you was always the train and the tracks. So when you ask who you are, the honest answer is not comforting. You are a pattern that can survive damage. You are also a pattern that can be changed by it. You are continuous, but not invincible. Stable, but not fixed. Real, but not untouchable. The person you are tonight depends on 3 pounds of fragile tissue keeping its promises. And that connects to something even stranger. Why can your brain make decisions before you know you made them? If this scratched the right part of your brain, subscribe to Mind Itch, a new question every single day.